In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a live sales call where I got the full $4,000 pay in full from a prospect who I had to tie down a lot in terms of like showing him what he's doing now is not going to get him to where he wanted to be. So I'm showing you guys this call because there's going to be a lot to learn. More so in the fact that this guy actually, he was making pretty good money with himself. I want to say he was making like 7 to 9 grand, I found out. But I needed to show him that what he was doing at the moment was not going to get him to where he wanted to be. Okay, so if you notice, I did the tie down in the beginning, and then I flowed into my pre-handle. I cut the clip, and then I moved to like dropping the price and handling his objection that I did at the end. If you notice, I'm showing you guys this call as well because, yeah, you can have a really good tie down, a really good pre-handle, but I'm not saying that you're going to get objectionless calls at the end, if that makes sense. But if you notice, I did get a small fear objection at the end, but it was very easy, very simple to handle. I just did like a very easy reframe, consequence, asked him who he needed to be, all that good stuff, like a binary or whatnot. So I'm gonna show you guys the full sales call. If you guys have any questions about like what I did, what I do more in depth or whatnot, you could shoot me a DM on Instagram. Also, if you're a sales rep, like an appointment center, closer, manager, growth op, whatever it may be, I think you could learn a lot from this video. And if you want to work with me one-on-one or get trained, DM me on Instagram as well. I'll leave that in the description, or if you just help a placement. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys all do enjoy. But here it is.
It's more so just like I said, what I kind of prioritize and value about like the ceiling, the potential, as well as the freedom, which ultimately a kind of corporate setting doesn't necessarily always provide.
Exactly. Would you say that is a very important goal that you have for yourself in life? Like, would you just say that generally speaking? Like the freedom, the uncapped income, the freedom, the location freedom, like all that stuff that you mentioned to me earlier. Would you say generally speaking, that's a pretty significant goal of yours to have in life?
I would say so. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Can I be blunt with you without offending you?
Absolutely.
Because if the goal here is to get freedom, man, like I've talked to a lot of guys, right? If the goal here is truly to get financial freedom, not have a ceiling on our income, do we think that this corporate job is going to get us there eventually one day?
No.
Right. Knowing that, if we want to be man to man with you, it kind of sounds like we need to check that off our list or look for something else in order to get us to reach that goal significantly in that time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yep.
Do you feel like that's the right way to approach things? I want to be in your team here.
Yeah, that's the right approach.
Cool. So knowing that, man, if it's been 3 to 4 years, right? Like we've actually wanted to start our own business, look for that freedom where we can do whatever we want, whenever we want. Have you done anything like in terms of actually investing into like a mentor earlier on to learn the skills of e-com so that you can work towards the freedom?
So no, not at the moment. Like I was sharing earlier, right? It's a little bit hard to basically distinguish between like what's kind of noise versus what's news.
For sure.
And it's also especially disheartening when you hear a lot of kind of horror stories, if you will, space. So I haven't actually committed or done anything like this before.
No worries, man. Do you think that what do you think was I know you said briefly, like there were horror stories about it. Can you elaborate on that? Like, do you feel like that was kind of what slowed you down from actually investing earlier on? Like these stories that you hear about mentorships, the stigma around it. Like, what do you think it was for you that slowed you down?
Yeah, I would say it's basically those kind of stories, the bad experiences, which people just share about what they've been through in these kind of programs and experiences that kind of held me back from actually taking that step forward initially. Yeah.
And I appreciate you being honest with me, man. So then for you, like, what was like your worst case scenario? Like, where were you hesitant of happening if you did invest, right? And it was kind of like, you could say, quote unquote, a horror story. Like it just didn't turn out how you wanted it to, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Well, first off, can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
When you say horror story, what do you mean by that? Just so I have a good, like, was it like if I invest in a mentor and they just like honestly run off to Mexico with my money, or is it like if I invest in the information is not good? Like, what do you mean by horror story and mentorships?
Yeah, I mean, I would say ghosting is kind of like one aspect, and then ultimately just that lack of like base support, whether it be just guidance, structure, any kind of like check-ins, or just any kind of general guidance and feedback. Ultimately, yeah, just a lack of even those things at a preliminary level.
Cool, man. Okay, cool. So knowing that, like I said, what were you actually hesitant of happening if you did invest into the mentorship? Right. And like they didn't provide you with the value or the base support that you actually wanted out of it.
So you're asking me what I would be hesitant on?
Of losing. Were we afraid of losing if you did invest, right? And we didn't get what we wanted, or we got ghosted, or we didn't get the base support? Were you actually afraid of losing?
I mean, ultimately, those kind of things, right? If you're basically making that investment into coaching, mentorship, that kind of support through the program, and ultimately those kind of deliverables aren't met,
Yeah.
um, I would say, yeah, those are the standout aspects.
So then what were you afraid of losing then? Was it the actual investment itself, would you say?
Yeah, I would say ultimately, yeah, the investment initially.
Yeah.
And then you could say the time, the readiness, the commitment
Right,
that
yeah, of
you're
course.
obviously willing to take that step and that not being delivered per se.
100%, man. Okay, cool. So it'd be fair to say like you were just you could correct me if I'm wrong, but like you were a bit hesitant on actually like losing out on the initial investment money, perhaps, as well as like the time and commitment you would have put into it if it didn't work out.
Yep, I would say that's a fair
Fair.
statement.
Okay, is that I want to be on your same team here. Is that the good conclusion we can come to? I don't want to like if you could correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, but would you say that's pretty fair?
Yep, that's fair.
Cool. So knowing that, man, if that's been the case, because I mean it's been 3 to 4 years, right? Like it sounds like you've had this desire for the past 3 to 4 years. If that's been the case for that's a long time, right? What changed it now? What changed now more recently that has you on the call because you're on the call for a reason, right? What changed now that actually makes you want to overcome that fear of either losing your money, losing your time, all that good stuff, and actually investing in yourself this time around?
Yeah, so I was actually sharing with all how I've never done this before. I think I shared that also with you initially.
Yep.
I'm actually basically submitting an application, committing to like a call like this. I'm actually from, so
Okay.
that's also where I'm from as
Right.
well.
Right.
So that kind of resonance and relatability is something which I respect and I appreciate.
Yep.
And even just from my kind of calls and from what I was able to gather from, like, for example, most recently with his live session,
Yep.
basically what he's dropped and like his suggestions and even like the nuggets of information that he's given about business and e-commerce and entrepreneurship, I respect and appreciate that. So hence the reason why I decided to make that step and basically be.
Okay. For sure. So then, more so in like the terms of like the mindset as a whole, right? Because believe it or not, like that mindset of possibly losing out on our money in investments, taking that risk in a sense, because you don't know what's going to happen with an investment, right? You don't know if it'll work out, if you'll be successful, if you won't be successful, right? But that same idea of like it not working out, the fear of losing the time and money is the same reason why people will never make a change in their life, right? So I'm talking about that mindset as a whole. Seems like
Yeah,
you had it for the past 3, 4 years. Aside from all outside factors, what made you want to take advantage and actually overcome that mindset as a whole and actually invest in yourself, possibly risk it this time because you're on the call for a reason. It's like what makes you want to get over that mindset of possibly losing out on your time and money?
I would say ultimately just coming down to the realization that in order to basically attain that next level and basically get that reward, you ultimately have to, take a risk. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
something that, yeah, just coming to the realization that without that risk, you're never going to be able to achieve that reward and take that next step.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me. So then for you, like I want to check in with you. Can you see how that fear, like of possibly losing out on the money and or time we've had for the past 3 to 4 years, has put you in a position where you are now, not doing bad, but not able to have the freedom and the entrepreneur mindset and the entrepreneurship of that you mentioned earlier? Do you see how all that plays together? I can
I,
say it one more time if
yeah,
it didn't make sense, but
but I
you
get it.
understand? You get it? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Just looking back, man, like not free to dwell on it, right? Because I'm on your team here.
yeah.
But looking back over those past 3, 4 years, what have we lost because this fear has actually prevented us from fully committing to ourselves earlier on?
Right. So I would say the opportunity cost is
Right.
basically, yeah, what you could have learned, maybe the success that you could have achieved earlier, being at a different level and stage um, that you're at today, um, had action been taken sooner.
Exactly, man. So I appreciate you for being honest with me. So then my only concern, man, is like I see a lot of guys jump on these calls, right?
Yeah,
But what happens if you look at the flip side? If we keep allowing this bit of fear to stop you from investing into your skills, then like what does life look like then?
so you're basically asking, What's
basically
stopping?
asking what happens if we don't make a change? Like what happens if we don't get rid of this fear, right? And we actually don't invest and commit to ourselves. What do you
Right.
see happening to yourself, man?
Right. You're just going to be at the same place where you're
Right.
at today. No progress, or you perhaps even worse off.
Right. And what does that mean for you, man? Like in your life, probably means we're staying at the corporate job, right? Which is not bad. I know it's not bad for you,
Yeah.
but like I want to help hold you to the standard because as a coach, like I want to do that for you. But like that's not what you told me. That's not what you want in your life, right?
Right.
So knowing that, knowing if we stay in the corporate job, that's definitely what could happen if we don't actually take the shot at ourselves. How committed do you feel like you are to overcoming that bit of fear and actually investing this time around?
Absolutely.
Pretty committed.
Yeah.
As far as the investment is the very first thing they have to process. I did mention it's about 4K. We typically process that on the call to get you moving, get you started, set you up, everything like that. As far as the investment, it's 4K US. How do we feel about that?
I wouldn't say I feel a particular kind of way
Sure.
about that. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. With that being said, because I just want to make sure, is there any questions, concerns, anything I should know around that initial investment in terms of processing that? Because like typically the next steps are to process that on the call. I will set you up, and then get you started with the onboarding call. Is there any other concerns, or are you good to go? What do you think? What do you mean? What do you think?
If I weren't able to process the payment live today, how much time would I have to be able to move forward with it?
I couldn't tell you, man. To be honest, it just opened up, and he's really choosing like a tight group of people to work with, one on one, because he can't work with everyone to get them good results. It's kind of a small group, right? You can't work with like 35, 40 people to get all good results, right? Especially one on one help. I couldn't promise you it will be here in a day or two. Um, but yeah, what would be like the concern for wanting to push it off? Just see if there's anything that I can help you out with.
It's not just necessarily about the monetary side of things. It's just also the kind of time commitment as well as the kind of effort associated with going into this as well. I just have to think of it wholly altogether.
Cool. What's the biggest thing coming up for you? Because I know you mentioned to me. What's the biggest thing coming up for you that actually makes you want to do so? Is it like still that uncertainty, or what do you think, man?
I would say, yeah, it's just the uncertainty as well as the commitment.
Cool. Okay. So knowing that, I can talk to you about that. In terms of like the certainty is what you're looking for. Are you just like looking for like a bit of certainty that what we do like will get you to where you want to be in life? Is that fair to say? Or like what we have going on, like you're looking for certainty that what we have going on will be able to get you to the goals that you mentioned earlier, or like it will work out how you want it to.
Yeah, that's fair to
Is
say.
that fair? Okay, cool. So knowing that, you mentioned like you feel like what we have to offer, like you feel like we can help you get there. Like we did come to that agreement, correct?
Yeah, we did.
Cool. So the other side of this, man, is like if you don't do it, right? How will we ever know? Right? Like how would we ever get that certainty? If you know what I mean.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Right.
And let me ask you first and foremost, Hen, are you actually willing, like aside from the price, are you actually willing to like find the time, put the time in, and do whatever it takes to make sure this does work for you, John?
Yeah.
You are. Why are you willing to do so? Because I feel like that's the hardest part for most guys. Like even when you're lazy, don't want to put the work in, when you don't want to get up, don't want to talk to people, why are you actually willing to put the time in, regardless, to make sure this works for you? Because I feel like it's the hardest part for most people.
Just to be able to accomplish, that goal of freedom and autonomy ultimately.
Cool. So knowing that, man, the real question becomes, I know there's been a nerves here. The real question becomes that, like, what would you do, John, if you knew you wouldn't fail, or you couldn't fail?
Right.
Probably do it, wouldn't you?
Right.
It's the unknown. The thing about it is, like, we'll never know unless we back ourselves with some commitment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up, man, is because, like, I understand we're feeling a bit of uncertainty right now. It's totally normal. It's a hefty investment, by no means, right? The hard
Right.
part about it is growing not from our perspective, but from the perspective that we want to be in life. Would you agree?
Yep, that's fair to say.
So knowing that, if you put yourself in the 2.0 version of the John yourself, right, the guy who has the freedom that he wants, the time freedom, location freedom, he has treated himself how he wants to. He's making $100,000 a month, let's just say. How do you think the version of yourself there, how would he make this decision? Does he face like the uncertainty head on, or does he let it overcome him and send him back to the same life he's been living for the past 3 to 4 years?
He faces it head on.
Faces it head on, right?
Yeah.
And would you agree, John? Like, I only bring that up because would you agree to get to the guy that you want to become in life, you need to think like the guy that you want to become?
For sure.
So knowing that, man, like, we don't have to do this by no means, John, right? We could just hop off the call and not do our own thing, right? But if we continue to make decisions because we're a bit uncertain of what's to come, what does life look like for us then?
Right. Yeah.
What does it look like? Like, truly, John?
Just doubt, regret.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably working the same corporate job, right?
Right.
And it's like, I know, and I'm only telling you this, man. I'm fighting for you because I want to help hold you accountable, right? Because the whole time you hopped on the call, told me that you were looking for the freedom. And it's my job, if I don't challenge you to make a change for yourself, man, who will? You know what I mean?
Right.
Knowing that, if we know the corporate job is not what we want in life and what's going to get us to the freedom that we actually want, what do you feel like is the best decision to make to put yourself in the 2.0 version of the shoes of the guy that you want to become? What do you feel like you need to do to be uncomfortable and actually put yourself in the best position to get there? What do you feel like you need to do, John?
Take that risk, per se.
Right. So the ball's in your court, John. What do you feel like you need to do, man?
Take that step.
Okay. What do you think, John? You ready to go, or what do you think?
I think I'm ready.
Good to hear, man. Are you excited? Or are you nervous? I can't really tell, man.
It's just
excited about it, man. It's gonna help you.
Yeah, just a lot of different thoughts,
Emotion.
emotions. Yeah, just going through my mind, just trying to process it. All right, I put it through.
Cool, man. I see it. How do you feel, John? It was a battle getting you.
I'm ready.